You know how the older generations all seem to think that if we just cut out our little lattes, we'll all be able to buy a house? Well, most obvious spoiler alert ever, it's not the little luxuries like lattes that are actually the problem. Content creator Nick Powers recently broke down what actually is the problem. Essentially, that the cost of necessities and luxuries have basically switched places. For instance, Powers pointed out the well-known statistic that in the 1950s, a television set would have run you anywhere from $200 to $500. And if you want to pause to read, this is a really interesting little relic from Television Digest, a trade journal from back then. Anyway, that $500 TV, that was about as much money as an entire year of the median rent at the time. And nowadays, of course, you can get a TV for $100 if you want. But you'd have to buy one of those $100 TV sets every single month for almost 2 years to equal a single month of today's median rent. Powers then shrunk this concept down to the lattes that the older generations are always yelling about. Back in the halcyon days of the 90s, a Starbucks cost you about $4. Now, if you were a really dedicated caffeine addict and had 3 of those a day, yeah, cutting that out would save you enough money to pay the median rent in much of the country at the time. Nowadays, you'd have to be drinking 10 of these bad boys a day, every day, 7 days a week, to equal the median rent nowadays. Nobody's drinking that much coffee every day, and if you are, please stop watching this video and go to the hospital. Nevertheless, many elderly people are convinced that these little luxuries are the reason for young people's financial hardships, but it just isn't true. As Powers explained, all those little luxuries are a lot cheaper nowadays, but everything else is astronomical, especially housing. I mean, this really isn't that complicated. Look at this graph. That blue line is the cost of a house since 1975. The red line is wages. Oh, wow, look at all that. Look at all that. Lattes. Lattes are the problem. Not say the fact that the minimum wage has actually drastically decreased when adjusted for inflation. It's the lattes and the avocado toasts and the going to brunch that are why 48% of people 18 to 34 do not have enough saved to withstand a single month without a paycheck. Never mind all this. This is just Gen Z and millennials whining. Bottom line, young people are not drowning in coffee. They're drowning in high rents and housing costs. So, cut back on your coffee spending and you'll definitely save up a little money every month for more little luxuries like coffees. A house, on the other hand, not so much. It's really not that complicated.